video will focus on the digestive system. I will specifically go over the functions of each organ and their relationships to one another in the digestive process. As many of you might already know, the main purposes of the digestive system are to 1. Absorb nutrients for the body so it can perform its various functions, and 2. To excrete waste. So, how do we digest food? Once food has entered your mouth, your teeth will be used to break it down. In this video, you'll get to see what happens when somebody eats a strawberry. Now back to teeth. There are 3 types of teeth that break down your food: the incisors, the canines, and the molars. The incisors are the front teeth in your mouth, which are used to shear or cut your food. The canines are the teeth right beside your incisors that are generally sharper, and they are used to tear your food. And finally, the molars are the teeth towards the back of your mouth that are used to grind the food item. As the food, or in this case the strawberry, is being chewed, it is being tasted by the papillae, commonly known as the taste buds. At the same time, the saliva produced from the salivary glands are then used to chemically break down the strawberry. An enzyme such as amylase, which breaks down complex carbohydrates, is likely to be present in this case because a strawberry contains fructose, a type of fruit sugar, which is considered a complex carbohydrate. After the strawberry is broken down, the food then moves all the way to the back of your mouth, where the uvula is, which is the flap hanging from the roof of your mouth. It is used to prevent the food from entering the pharynx when it's swallowed. After the food has left your mouth, it is no longer considered food, but it is called the bolus. The bolus is then taken through the esophagus. On its way down, the trachea, which is the windpipe, is sealed off by the epiglottis to prevent any choking. The bolus, which is the broken down strawberry, is now involuntarily moved through a wave-like movement against the esophagus through a process called peristalsis. At the end of the esophagus, there is a muscular ring known as the cardiac sphincter, which then controls what enters the stomach. They're kind of like bouncers at a club. If you don't seem worthy to enter, then you are booted out. All the broken up food that is booted out then travels back up the esophagus and ends up being regurgitated out of your mouth through vomit. The rest of your food then travels down to your stomach. The stomach is a J-shaped muscle which has many layers. It holds gastric glands and juices. The muscle lining in the stomach is used to break down the food physically through the churning of its gastric juices. Once these gastric juices have mixed with the bolus, it then turns into a thick liquid known as chyme. The chyme exits the stomach through another muscular ring called the phyllotic sphincter, where it travels to the small intestine, specifically to the first part of the intestine known as the duodenum. The duodenum is a short, wide, U-shaped area of the small intestine where the chyme is chemically broken down. The pancreas, represented by the yellow clay, secretes enzymes, while the liver produces bile, then secreted by the gallbladder, represented by the green clay, into the duodenum to break down the chyme. The duodenum contains many villi, which are folds that's on the surface of the duodenum that secretes intestinal juices, which allows with the breakdowns of carbohydrates, which can then be absorbed into the body. From the small intestine, the remaining chyme moves to the ascending colon in the large intestine through a pouch known as the cecum. The large intestine reabsorbs any remaining nutrients such as vitamins B and K that may have been missed. Whatever is not reabsorbed is now considered waste, since it cannot be used in the body. The waste then travels through the transverse and descending colons, where it will leave the intestine through the rectum. From the rectum, the waste is then removed from the body through the anus, and this final process is called digestion. And this pretty much sums up the digestive system. I'm referring to an ulcer, which is a break in the skin or mucous membrane that fails to heal. The stomach ulcer is the most common type of ulcer, and ulcers are mainly caused by the Helicobacter pylori, which is gram-negative bacteria. Ulcers can also be worsened by aspirin and ibuprofen. Some of the signs of having a stomach ulcer include stomach pain, loss of appetite, weight loss, abdominal bloating, nausea, and vomiting up blood. Stomach ulcers can be diagnosed with x-rays or by an esophagogastroduodenoscopy, or EGD for short, which is a type of endoscopy. Endoscopy is an instrument that is used to look inside the body by putting a long tube down your esophagus. Another type of diagnostic technology is the urea breath test, which is a fast procedure that is used to identify bacteria by testing the ability of urea to produce and convert carbon dioxide. Treatment for stomach ulcers include the misoprostol, which is a type of medication used to prevent ulcers, as well as different types of antibiotics. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something new about the digestive system.